Thank you so much, Cindy, for taking the time to actually sit down with me and talk a little bit about rebuilding together.
Sure. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, so I really wanted to just get like a little inside glimpse of what you guys do and do like maybe a Q&A little portion. And then that way, we can best, support you because you have been chosen uh, with AREP as like our nonprofit that we really want to help out and just bring more awareness to your cause.
That's awesome. We're so excited about it.
Okay. So can you just please tell me a little bit on how you got started with rebuilding together?
Sure. Rebuilding Together Austin was actually founded in 2013. And prior to that, I had worked with Rebuilding Together in Sacramento for 10 years. And we launched the Austin affiliate. And basically, our whole mission and vision is to repair homes and revitalize communities. We do that through home repairs to low income homeowners at no cost. And basically, that allows our homeowners to remain in their homes. It allows the people who've raised their families for generations in their homes to remain there. As property taxes increase and homeowners are no longer able to pay for the repairs that they need,
Hmm.
it allows us to come in and make their home safer and more comfortable so that they can stay there longer.
I was reading on the history, like the origin story of rebuilding together, and I saw that it was in Midland. And I worked in West Texas for a few years before moving down to Austin. So I was like, oh, that's so cool that it wasn't, I kind of lived in the vicinity of where you guys first started.
It's pretty neat, actually. Yeah, I think it was in 1973 they had their official first project, and it was really a barn raising type effort of local community members and churchgoers helping their neighbors who just couldn't, either for whatever reason they were either disabled or they didn't have the money, and they'd gather together. And that was really the true spirit of Rebuilding Together and how it was started. Although during that time it was called Christmas in April, and affiliates were popping up all over the United States with the name Christmas in April. The story is that one woman came out of her house after the repairs were done and said, "Wow, this feels like Christmas in April." And so that became our National Rebuilding Month. And so the name changed officially to Rebuilding Together to kind of encompass more of a wraparound, year round approach to providing home repairs.
Oh, I love that. I've actually done webinars where I speak to like the social benefits of home ownership because I think it's very well like mainstream. Everyone knows the financial benefits. And when I was reading your website, I'm like, man, it's hitting all those markers of like tapping into your local community and that the expertise that's just in your neighborhood alone to help one another.
It is. It's pretty neat. We actually use a variety of community services. We partner with volunteers, we partner with local businesses. We do hire contractors to do some of the more intensive work that requires permits and um, but we also use other nonprofit agencies as partners. One example is we might partner with Texas Gas, and they can come in and provide water heaters, and Austin Energy to do insulation and weatherization. And so it's really kind of neat when everybody comes together and we can make that house, bring it up to code, and also make it safe and clean. And residents can stay there, our homeowners can stay there for quite a long time.
Right. Okay. So that was just the intro parts. I'm gonna move along to the Q&A parts. So from the questions I sent you yesterday. So question number one, what is like the best way that we can support a worthy cause, like rebuilding together?
Well, that's a great question, and I probably could go on for a while about that. But one way is just getting the word out there to other agencies and businesses about who we are and what we do. For example, we have some in-kind partners, and what that essentially means is, for example, we have Centex Foundation, and they will sponsor a couple of foundation repairs for us throughout the year, and that allows us to leverage our actual um, money and finances towards other repairs. So it really allows us to do more work. On our volunteer projects, we currently have services that provide us with porta potties and hand washing stations. Blue Chem is the company, and they provide that in kind donation for every volunteer project. So, a great way to support our organization is through in kind donors in supporting our services that way. Of course, marketing and fundraising. I think probably every nonprofit leader will tell you that they can use money for staff or, overhead, whatever it is that they could use that money for. And then obviously just sharing our message through social media and highlighting the work that we do in terms of just preserving affordable housing stock and making neighborhoods safer and cleaner.
Wonderful, wonderful. So when we say Austin, are we saying like all of Austin, or is there any kind of centers that you really try to focus on?
We actually serve Travis County, Williamson County, and Hayes counties. Um, it just kind of depends on our funding sources. Right now, the majority of our funding is focusing really on Austin. Um, and so we do primarily most of our home builds and rebuilds there. But we can extend out into other counties if we have the resources to do that.
Wonderful. Okay. The I Now that question I asked you was supposed to be the last one. Uh, when I was checking everything, and I was surfing through the slides, I forgot to go back to number one, but I'll fix that and edit in the post production. So the first question,
That's okay. That's okay. You can ask it again if you want at the end.
which would have been more appropriate, is what is the purpose of rebuilding together?
That's a great question. Rebuilding Together preserves affordable housing stock. We make repairs to homes that allow our low income homeowners to remain in their homes in comfort and safety. We install accessibility modifications to prevent falls and to help older adults remain in their homes. We also provide critical health and safety repairs that allow homeowners to, a lot of our low income homeowners live on a very fixed income. They're either widows or they're seniors, they're retired. And then, of course, with property taxes so high in Austin and actually a lot of other cities, it allows them to use their daily living budget on other expenses like food and medicine and daily requirements. And then we can make repairs to their homes so that they can stay in there longer and they don't have to leave and try to find another home that they can afford.
Wow. When I was looking at your website, I was seeing some of the metrics you guys have, and it just really amazed me about like some of the mental aspects, the health aspects that are beneficial to the program that you guys do for everybody.
There are like quite a few of them that we focus our repairs on. We focus on the seven principles of healthy housing, although now I believe it's eight, but it's essentially, those are the science based um, principles of housing that we focus our repairs on. Essentially,
Cool.
keep it.
That's the next question. That's the next
Okay.
question. Okay. All right. So question number two was, I read your website and I saw that you have a science-based approach to your home repair program. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Sure. We use our the principles of healthy housing to approach every home that we go into. Um, each home is different in terms of what it needs and how we approach the repairs. And we look at it from the seven principles of healthy housing, keeping it dry, clean, safe, contaminant free, pest free, well maintained, and well ventilated. Um, Also thermally controlled, I think now is added in there, which makes sense. And so if there's a leak, we focus on repairing that leak. It depends on where that leak is located. If the foundation is falling apart, we're lucky enough to be able to have the funding to do that. And so the repairs that we provide really keep the homeowners in their homes in a safer environment. And it's really a holistic approach to address the issues that can cause, other health issues with anybody living in the home, which is really a big deal. Someone can suffer from asthma. A senior might have, rugs that are loose on the floor and they could trip on them. We also partner with occupational therapists to come in and do an assessment of older adults and see how they navigate in their home. And they might make recommendations on where to put a grab bar. For example, if you have somebody and you just put a grab bar in their bathroom, if their left arm doesn't work, the grab bar on the left hand side is not helpful. Or if they have mobility issues, I should say, with their left arm, that's going to not help them to have a grab bar there. So we look at really a lot of different aspects of how people navigate their homes and how they use their homes, as well as correcting the deficits that exist.
Wow. So very, not just scientific, I guess, based approach, but very intentional approach by what you do. So it actually, is purposeful.
Absolutely. I mean, it can't just come in and make a repair what we think is necessary. We really have to focus on how the people live in their homes.
Okay. I hate to put you on the spot, but I really, when you were telling me your answer, I was like, man, do you have a story or maybe just a case that really stuck out in your mind since you started this like kind of encompasses um what you guys do with rebuilding together?
I do.
Sure.
Um, so there we served a client who lives in East Austin, in the 78704. For anybody in Austin knows that that's really kind of the one of the East Austin neighborhoods that's very has grown quite a bit and very um, wealthy in terms of housing stock. And there was a senior that lived there. She's 80 years old, and her home was fallen into disrepair. She was married to a veteran. She's been widowed for years, and her home literally needed so much work. And what I loved about this particular project is we partnered with the city of Austin for funding to make repairs to the roof and the foundation and put in a new HVAC system. Actually, she didn't even have one. She had uh, window units for her air, and then she had like space heaters for her house. The house was built in the early 1900s, and then we partnered with Wells Fargo, and they came in and brought volunteers, and we did a whole beautification piece. We replaced the siding, we painted the exterior of the home, and then we used another funding source, from the Texas state, and we brought in accessibility modifications. So we pulled out the bathtub, and we installed a walk-in shower and new flooring throughout the entire home. And at the end of the day, we layered so many different levels of funding and groups and resources that essentially her home was brand new, but she was able to stay in the neighborhood that she had lived with her husband for years, and over 50 years, which was really incredible.
Wow. Wow. I can't even imagine how much like what she must have felt to like 'cause that's almost like a complete remodel like one of those shows, right? Where it's like that's so much. I mean, life changing.
It was pretty incredible, especially considering she lived on Social Security. And that was just not enough to really make any single one of those repairs. And
Wow.
then not only did she feel safer and more comfortable in her house, her family knew that she was okay and she could stay there in her home.
Wow. Incredible. Okay, so I'm gonna move on. I have two more questions left. So let's see. What is one thing or project that you are super excited for going into this year?
Well, this year, 2023, is a really big year for Rebuilding Together Austin. We're celebrating 10 years of our organization and of providing home repairs in the central Texas area. And we are partnering with the Weather Channel in April. We're going to do the partnership is through our national office, and we are going to repair 3 homes that were affected by the winter storm in February of 2021. Um, and really, that was a huge impact in our community. As you know, there were pipes that were frozen, there were houses that were damaged, and we're highlighting the work that we do with the Weather Channel on how, after that storm, we were able to come in and make repairs to homes. So we're excited about that. We're excited about doing a couple other projects that are going to highlight our 10 years of service to the community. So it's a big year for us.
Wow, I'd say so. I'm glad I asked that one.
Yeah, we went from one staff for 8 years to now four staff, and we've grown um, really exponentially, and it's been incredible to be a part of.
Wow. Now I know I already asked this, but maybe you thought of something else between now and then. What is the best way to support your cause?
We love volunteers.
Mm,
So, folks that can come out and support our home repair projects. Um, Typically, how that works is local companies would like to get involved and use it as a team building opportunity for their staff to come out and provide services to a client for a day. What's awesome about that opportunity is the volunteers from the company get to meet a homeowner. They work together. The work that we typically focus on with volunteer groups is things like exterior painting and yard cleanup, some light carpentry. And it's a full kind of day event where it's great to get out there and work right alongside other coworkers, and the company sponsors the project. And so that's a great way to support our cause, is through a volunteer sponsored project by their company. Also, in kind donors are great to help support our cause. So if folks can't actually provide the funding, but they have a service that they could provide to us. For example, every volunteer project that we do, we usually order a dumpster. Well, that costs money, but if somebody's willing to donate it to us, that really helps us leverage our resources even further. Um,
mm.
Another way would be just getting the word out about who we are and what we do. We're always looking for folks to um, understand a little bit more about who we are and what we do, to be able to partner with us and help spread the word about the services that we provide.
Oh, wonderful. And I hope we get to do that with AREP and just uh, broadcast you as much as we can because we are putting on a fundraiser for you. I believe it's next month. So that was a big part of like why I wanted to bring you on today, Cindy, because I really want us to get like a just hear your voice and hear the Rebuilding Together's mission. And one thing that really stood out, which I would have never connected the dots, was using the volunteer part, for as a team building exercise. I was like, yeah, how come I've done like a confidence course for team building, but I would have never thought to do something like that, which I feel is more impactful.
It's actually pretty neat to watch it happen when a company comes out and volunteers together, because they're used to maybe working together in one sense, maybe in the office or out in the field, but in their industry. And then you sort of like level the playing field when everybody comes together on the house, and it's a great day. I mean, you can learn new skills, you can support each other in a different way, and it really does create that good feeling kind of team building day. It's pretty fun to be a part of, actually.
Yeah, I can see it being kind of like a good pattern disruptor,
It
and
is.
and just seeing your coworkers in just a different work setting, right? And again, that it's so hard to put like or try to articulate that sense of goodwill that feeling that you get when you've done something like unselfishly. And
Hmm.
I know it's hard for us because all of us are so crazy busy with just our lives that we kind of tend to forget like hey sometimes this kind of return you don't maybe see the immediate return in it but I think it's I think it's something that will live on with you like I hope that kind of makes sense but
It absolutely does. And
yeah.
we actually never know how important or the impact that it has on the homeowner. We've had stories where homeowners keep calling after the volunteer project with, oh, my floor, maybe you could just come look at my floor. And really, it's the way that we touched the homeowner. Some of our homeowners are really isolated, and the experience for them when volunteers, perfect strangers, show up to their house and give of their day is something that most folks can't comprehend, and it really touches them in ways that we sometimes we can see, but sometimes we don't see for years later. So
Mm.
it's pretty cool.